During the next tape, which is a cable TV segment from April 1985, Ben kept talking the whole time that the camera was not on him.
Skills called cue speech. With the aid of this relatively new language skill, Ben learns what the other kids learn. There's only one exception. Ben is deaf. Welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Lockman and Ben. Now this cue speech is very innovative. By the way, I'm sure we can hear Ben talking in the background. Welcome to you, Marianne, and also to Ben. I want your attention here, but I think I'm going to have to be struggling with Ben. Ben has been fascinated since the moment he got into the studio with the television, and when he saw himself on the monitor, he did a hilarious double take, so looks like it's going to be a good experience for him. Ron, why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about cue speech. This is different than sign language. First of all, why don't we just start by explaining what sign language is?
Okay. Sign language is basically a method of communication to the deaf. It consists of 5,000 to 10,000 signs. They're iconic, or pictures. You say, I have a cat, and that's, you don't have to say it with your mouth, because the signs with the hands.
All right, so when you say cat, obviously this is a whisker, so it is really kind of picture words.
But cued speech, the system which we use, is a phonetic system. We use our hands to show what we say. The problem, and part of the controversy in how you teach the hearing impaired, is that there are two main schools. There's the oral school and the total communication, or in some people call it the manual method. Manual method is use your hands, signs. Oral says use your mouth. The problem...
You know, Ben is conversing, and I'm afraid he won't later. Why don't we just talk with him a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the philosophy. What is he saying here?
He said, that's you. He sees me on the monitor. Who is that? That's me? Up, up. Who do you see now?
Who is it?
That's Mama. Do you see Julie? Julie wasn't there. Who's Julie? Show me Julie.
Where's Julie?
Here I am, Ben.
There she is.
Here I am. Ben, can you tell me about the he-bears? What's a he-bear?
What's a he-bear?
That's the he-bear.
That's a he-bear.
Ben pointed to the he-bear.
What does the he-bear do, Ben?
Oh, he wasn't watching you.
What does the he-bear do, Ben? What does he do? What does the he-bear say? Does he say bye-bye? What does he say? Oh, he says hello. Who does he say hello to? To Mama? To Julia? Who's Julia? That's Julia? Is Julia a he-bear? A she.
See, now I can see that he's speaking and also using some of the... So is that a combination of the two? Is that the idea behind cueing?
Well, first of all, it depends who he's talking to. If he's talking to someone that he knows cued speech, he cues back. If he talks to someone who doesn't know cued speech, he generally doesn't cue and just talks. So he kind of knows who his listener is. And since his speaking is not extremely intelligible as of yet, to us and to other people in our family who know how to cue and is cueing interpreter, he does it. Hello.
He likes that microphone. He knows to speak into it, doesn't he?
Yes.
So let's get back to the difference between sign language. You do not use your lips at all. In fact, is that discouraged?
Not really. It's encouraged in total communication, that you speak when you are signing. But for many signs like dog, which you snap your fingers and pat your thigh, you can't possibly be watching your lips when you're snapping your finger. And
so your eyes are distracted down to what your hand is doing.
Right. So people who are learning to learn signs are watching your hands. Cued speech, however, is always by your lips. Cued speech, really, the name is almost a misnomer. It's enhanced lip reading. Lip reading alone is very hard to learn.
For adults as well as children? I've often wondered how people did it, and it seems impossible to me, because some people don't move their lips any more than this right here, and how can you tell?
Well, the lips definitely do make different shapes, and if you're tuned to it, you can see it clearly. But there are many sounds which look exactly the same on the lips. M, B, and P are examples, and met, bet, pet, mit, bit, pit, meet, beat, peat. All those are words. Or Ben, his name, pen, or men, all are the same on the lips. The purpose of the cues, if I say men, or Ben, or pen, I show the differences on my hands. Now,
and what you're showing there is the difference in the consonant?
Well, why don't I give a quick rundown?
Okay.
Cued speech, you first of all have to learn 8 hand shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You put them in 4 places: on your side, your mouth, your chin, and your throat. Okay? Where you put your hand is the vowel sound. The shape of your hand and the lips make the consonant. So this hand shape is T, M, and F, T, M, and F. This one is D, P, J, and I can go on and show you 25 consonant sounds. Where you put them again, vowels, E, O, and so forth, and you memorize it. Though it looks very difficult, I can cue very fast. It takes about 20 to 30 hours to learn to cue. And that's because there are really 40 sounds in all of English. And whether you say hickory, dickory, dock, the mouse ran up the clock, you can cue anything. We can cue in Hebrew. You can cue in other languages. It's been converted to 15 or 16 languages. And it's very easy to learn since it's a closed set.
And it's always near the face so you're not distracted.
Mm-hmm. You're always watching the lips. Since the lips, in fact, are a vital part of it, you can't really understand cued speech if you aren't watching the lips. But the lips alone in lip reading aren't enough. In fact, one of the reasons that oral communication which was the only method up until like 1965, 68 here, has fell into some amount of disfavor in the local school district, so they try and use it and integrate it in a total package, is it's very hard to learn to lip read alone. There simply is not enough there, especially for a young child who doesn't yet know English.
Mm-hmm. So you felt the need for something more.
Mm-hmm.
And how is it working in the school district itself? I mean, Ben is in school,
mm-hmm.
but they're not using this in the public school. So how are you getting around that?
Well, we have him in a private school. It's Park Ridge Children's Learning World, a Montessori school in Park Ridge. And there's a new adjunct to the Children's Learning World. It's called the Cueing Place. That's we're having a summer session this summer. But basically, we have them in a normal classroom with 20-some normal kids running around doing all the things the kids do when they're 3 and 4 years old, except he has a woman who comes with him to class. That's his interpreter. Now, his interpreter is bright and watches what he's doing and cues for him any environmental speaking when he needs it. If you can understand what a little playmate is saying or what the teacher is saying in context, she doesn't cue. But when he needs it, or when new material is being presented, she cues to him. And by watching her, he can understand clearly and everything that's going on.
Let me ask you a little bit about the history of it, because I'm surprised that it's not more well known. Is it a fairly recent development?
It was invented about 12 years ago by Dr. Orrin Cornett at Gallaudet College. He's a physicist, and he was really upset. How come deaf people have low reading levels? Why do typical deaf adults have 3rd or 4th grade reading level? And he was appalled by this. And as a physicist working on a government grant or something, he said, aha, I think I know why. It's because they don't learn the English language. They don't learn the phonetic systems that, dog starts as D-O-G and being able to sound words out the way all of us learn to read. So he came up with this method really as a method to teach the language to hearing impaired people to help them to learn to read. It turned out to be a pretty successful system, but he was using it in a research environment until about 5 years ago, really just a handful of children. And
So this sounds like a very clever man. Let's talk a little bit more about that. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll
Okay.
be right back. And Lockman.